Here we go. We should be live. Welcome, welcome, welcome to episode 3 of Justuno's Holiday Heroes training. I see a few people hopping in on time. Thanks, guys, for being on time. My name is Jenna Ochoa, and if you've been on an episode, you already know my spiel, but I handle partner marketing here at Justuno. And training you today is going to be our VP of Customer Success, Robbie. So Robbie, you want to go ahead and say hi and tell everybody who doesn't know you, maybe they've been on, but a little bit about what you do here at Justuno.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Thank you, Jenna, for the introduction. I am our VP of Customer Success, and I work with a lot of our top-tier clients in terms of optimization and strategy, and have kind of been doing a lot of the back-end research here throughout the e-commerce world and everything, just to help everybody get a good head start on their holiday season this year.
Good deal. Well, if you guys haven't been with us before, I'm going to go ahead and launch a poll so we can understand a little bit more about you. So go ahead and answer what you would like. And just out of curiosity, I would love to know where you guys are joining from today. I myself am joining from Texas. I think, Robbie, you're in SF now, or are you in Austin?
Yep, I'm finally back in SF.
Cool. So that's where Justuno's first office was. But if you guys want to share up where you're joining from today, that would be cool. And then just answer our poll questions. How useful have you found this training? We'd love to know, just so we can hopefully make this episode and the next episode better, since we only have 2 left. And we're re-asking a question from episode 1. How far along are you in your holiday planning? So just curious if you've made any progress. And then the second question, sorry I hopped around there, but are you planning on running a Black Friday, Cyber Monday mobile offer? So that's something that we will go over today. A few details before we get started. Runtime will be around 40 minutes with around 15 to 20 minutes of Q&A. So Robbie and I were chatting about this before. It might go a little bit longer. We're not really sure. The thing is, we really, really want you guys to feel confident in your holiday builds. So the more time Robbie spends with you one-on-one, the better. So hopefully if you can stay the whole time, please do. If not, we will be sending it out as a recording so you can go step by step with him afterward.
I'm all yours.
Yeah, take advantage of it now. Use the chat to ask questions. You can also use the Q&A feature. So we have a team of people manning this. I myself and Miranda, an account manager, will be manning the chat here in Zoom. And then we are streaming to Facebook Live. And so we have a team of folks over there. I believe Olivia, maybe Catherine, maybe Kara. Those are some names that you should be expecting to hear from on that channel. So please engage with us there too if you are watching on Facebook. And last but not least, if you notice any technical difficulties, if the audio is weird, if you can't see the screen, just ping us there in the chat and we will get it fixed for you. Cool. It looks like we have somebody from Denmark. Hello, Jesper. Thanks for attending.
Staying up late.
Sweet. All right, Robbie. Well, I will let you take it from here. I'm going to share the poll results and just leave that up for a minute, but you can go ahead and kick us off.
Okay, cool. And thank you guys again for joining. It's really nice to see how many of you are kind of taking your holiday strategy seriously early on and validating this for us. It's really, we just want you guys to get in front of the holidays because we know you won't regret it. And it also, the ability for us to talk to many of you at once and kind of create this kind of common sense of a strategy around the holidays is helpful for all parties. It helps us, it helps you, and we really appreciate it. So I wanted to actually share this while Jenna was talking a second ago, but this is really giving just more context to this whole timeline that we're creating with the series. In terms of putting things into buckets, it kind of helps me when we talk about the builds, like where should we be at different times in Q4 and where should we be focusing on, what should we be looking forward to, and what should we be planning. So you notice that today we're going to be jumping a little bit around this timeline. But I like the idea of just kind of putting these in these time sensitive buckets. And feel free, if you want to let us know in the chat. I can understand if maybe some people want this as a PDF or something. If you feel like that would be helpful, then that would be something that we would want to know too. So I also want to relieve some pressure for you regarding Justuno in terms of Black Friday and Cyber Monday. The the core idea of this stretch is really to let people know what your doorbuster deals are, how to find them, and how long they last for. And, you know, really being the selfless, customer-centric based SaaS company that we are, we believe that a great strategy for this stretch of days combines the best features that we offer with your other efforts. And we kind of feel comfortable telling you to somewhat maybe just pull the reins back a little bit on your pop-up strategy specifically, and mainly use them where necessary to guide and educate your potential customers. You may have noticed, you know, like that, you know, when we pull back a little bit, one of our main goals is to get more people in e-commerce thinking about the entire 61-day holiday season between November and December, instead of just being hyper-focused on the 2 big days, at least as far as your Justuno campaigns go. So with that said, let's jump into just a quick, let's just take a look at where we've been so far in terms of actionable Justuno campaigns. First, in terms of what you're building first and what you're testing for now, and in the period that we're kind of getting into right now, it's lead capture, lead capture, lead capture. What offer, what tease is going to work best for your clients to get on your list and help them get into your marketing flows as quickly as possible? Is it your current lead capture offer? Is it early access to Black Friday only plus a discount? Or is it just that really kind of exclusivity of the early access? And so we fast forward that to today, where we're going to be talking about what is the best way that you can guide people through your website, and then really kind of just get out of the way for people to buy, right? And how can we keep them on the site? How can we just be very, very strategic about our touch points in terms of this? So,
and Robbie here, can I check in with people on homework before you continue?
Sure, totally.
Okay, so cool. Guys, I know last time we asked you how you're coming along. I just want to check in again and see what everybody has done. Now, I don't expect you guys to have every single one of these things set up, because honestly, it depends on your company. It depends on your business, your demographic. So maybe you only have a couple things. Maybe you have 1, 2, 3 of these. It looks like a lot of people are responding absolutely nothing. I'm a terrible student. So hopefully, Robbie, we can whip them into shape today. But I'll let this stay up for a couple more minutes. You can go ahead, Robbie.
Yeah, well, that's another reason too, for just going off the cuff here. That's another reason why you might notice some repetitive ideas here, and just us kind of trying to recall things from previous episodes, is that we totally realize that it's easy for this stuff to go to get brushed under the rug and say, oh my God, it's only early October. I've got Halloween to deal with. Not only do I have to deal with Halloween on my website and Thanksgiving, but I also got to go get my Halloween costume and figure out what I'm doing and figure out my travel plans for the holidays. So you'll notice, some repetitive, repetition in these episodes. And really, we just want to get you guys thinking about it and keep reminding you that this should be your timeline. So I'm starting to think that maybe those timeline buckets would be maybe a good idea to send out. But for now, let's jump into the meat and potatoes of what we'll be doing today, and what will we be getting hands-on in the canvas with and in the targeting rules. Mainly the mantra is, we have this idea of welcoming the rush on Black Friday and Cyber Monday. Since many of you will have very subtle differences between your Justuno campaigns between Black Friday and Cyber Monday based on what I'm going to show you, I want to also talk about this kind of idea of a bonus hack. It moves away from the holiday specific strategy and more just kind of, some things that I've found that will save you time working in Justuno itself. Some ways that you can move through the app quicker and get these campaigns built out faster. So I want to share a little hack with you guys, a little flow. We touched on the courtesy banners last week, but we didn't actually build one. So today we will build a courtesy banner for your Black Friday welcome screens and your Cyber Monday welcome screens. And not only will you have it then, but this will serve you year round for your lead capture campaigns. You're offering a 10% discount for emails. Someone signs up and then they get their coupon code, And you may have seen this before, but a lot of really high growth websites will utilize those courtesy banners to follow people around either in the immediate session then or a lot of follow-up sessions, just to remind people, reinforcing that marketing message. Okay, so cart abandonment strategy. This will be pretty much the only bottom of funnel thing that we discuss for Black Friday and Cyber Monday itself. And I want to also, give some focus to the people that'll be early abandoners, these early window shoppers. You will have people that go to your site early, add things to their cart, and then don't, like they're going to wait. Maybe they're just kind of bookmarking everything. So what can you do to squeeze some value out of them? What can you do to get them to shop on your site as opposed to going to a competitor site? So lastly, a really overarching idea for Black Friday and Cyber Monday, focus on sales conversions. We, again, being a selfless company, we're willing to let go of this, of our lead capture focused structure for this week at least, because people do not want to have their discounts gated on a weekend like Black Friday and Cyber Monday, because none of your competitors are doing it and none of the big box retailers are doing it. And plus, if you're getting all these sales, you're going to get all the emails along with the sales to continue to market to them later on. Okay. So leads kind of, again, the main idea for this is amplifying your doorbusters, guiding, educating visitors, and then getting out of their way, creating a path of least resistance for these people, because as has been cited in many, many, many articles, many research papers, Kleiner Perkins, Internet Retailer, everybody talks about UX is key to conversions and key to reducing cart abandonment on these days of the year, and making sure that that you are not making it hard, or you're making your customers think too hard about their purchases. Okay, so UX is key to conversions. Amplify, educate, guide, then get out of the way. Okay, so all right, with that, let's start building. Let's start welcoming the rush. Let's talk about Black Friday. This deal, I'm gonna show you guys the Black Friday welcome screen courtesy bar idea. And we're going to talk about that a little bit. And mainly what I'm going to do is, I don't want to overcomplicate these campaigns for you in terms of Justuno. I want to talk about some things that we've commonly seen in the past, what we see talked about this year, and how to achieve that in our canvas and utilizing our rules. So we'll talk about some ways that you can achieve some of these things that you've probably seen shopping around yourselves. So a major plus here is that these campaigns are unlocked offers, meaning you're not collecting an email. They're not gated at all. So there's no email integration required, really. So it just removes one step of the process. This is really a design and segmentation focused build here. Okay. So what we're going to do, I think we should jump in now. I do want to talk a little bit, or, it's very popular to bake the discounts into your PDPs in your cart, and which obviously optimizes the UX more, and we'll have another option besides that. But that makes it even that much easier for Justuno, for your Justuno campaigns in alerting and guiding and educating these visitors. And then the courtesy banner obviously keeps things subtle, reminds them when the deal ends, and we'll talk about some ways you can move through that. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump into the canvas here. I've got, let's see, where's my Justuno here? Okay, so I've got this already built out, but I'm going to show you guys how it got built originally. So what this looks like before you see it as a full screen, all black background welcome screen is I pull this out and it's just a regular pop-up, and we have our black, it's a little opaque, but we drop that in. And this is just your kind of standard, this is just kind of a standard looking modal screen, right? So what we did instead for this is I just pulled in, I just wanted to black this whole thing out, because when people arrive at the site, I just want them to know, here's the deal. Obviously the sale is on, right? And a couple of things that I want to make very clear is that the discount is automatically applied, and it is up to 60% off, depending on what they have in their cart and what's available. And mentioning that, obviously you're going to get those higher discounts on sale and clearance items. We have obviously a countdown timer here, which just lets people know they don't need to focus on this in the beginning, but because it'll be in the courtesy banner. But this is time is ticking, right? You might notice that because I'm not utilizing a coupon code here. I've been asked a lot in the past, how do you create a promotion that does not have a coupon code in it? And it's pretty simple. Most of our themes come with coupon code layers in them, but if you simply remove them, and especially for these unlocked offers, that is all you need to do. Just remove that. And then in terms of this CTA that you see, I've created it as, now I'm not by any means a professional designer, but I've created this as just a close button. So once this promo is closed, then the banner shows up, and that'll be something that we talk about in the rules. But this is a very simple setup, right? We've removed the coupon code. We've utilized a timer. And one thing that I'll go into in a second is some things you can do in terms of utilizing the timer in some of our different settings. You can also, a little bonus here, which if you have a page that you want to actually lock, or some kind of category page that you're trying to lock, you can utilize these full screen promotions and do what I like to do here, which is removing what is called the close on dim click. You're getting a little platform training in this along with your holiday Black Friday builds. So you can remove this ability to close the pop-up when clicking the background. And I could potentially remove this close button, and I could gate a page. I could say, hey, you have to, maybe if you want early access to the Black Friday deals, you got to submit your email to get into this page. So that was kind of a last minute idea that I thought of when I was building these, that I wanted to share with you guys. Otherwise, by default, you will see that this is selected. You can close by clicking the background or by clicking this close layer. And arguably, what I find is the most important part of this build, and what I've seen consistently over the years, is where do you find where to schedule these promotions? And it's just going to be in your basic settings right here. We can pick a start date like this. So I'm going to select, and we'll go through these dates later, so you don't need to write these down or anything. But I'm going to have this promotion start right on the dot at 12 a.m. on Black Friday, November 23rd, 2018. I'm going to select to close this promo, not because the deal is going away, but just because I'm going to go into my Cyber Monday branding. I'm going to close this on the 25th at 11:55. And what I generally do here is, since you don't have that 59 option, I just go in here, select 55, and then change it to 59. Now, one thing that we will also note more later is that these are based on our server time. So these are in Pacific Standard Time, and you must know that. If you're on the East Coast, end this at 8:59 p.m., okay? Or start this at maybe 3 a.m. or something, or it just depends on how early. Usually people want to start these earlier rather than later, so that's something to consider. Also, when you guys are if you are trying to change the name of your promotion after you have already created it in the wizard, which we went through last week, you will need to change it here. And I highly recommend you putting more effort than normal into your naming conventions and how you utilize those naming conventions, because those will be key in your ability to organize these promotions, knowing what's happening every time you log in. A lot of people log in to just, if they've automated these workflows, they just log in so that they can make sure everything's running, kind of smoothly. They're getting impressions on these. People are checking out. Nothing is blocked on here. So something to consider for that. Let's talk a little bit about the timer here. I've selected our futuristic green, but we have a lot of different themes, and I am making a big push for us to have even more themes available by the time this hits, by the time this holiday hits. But you guys have all these to choose from, And generally what you'll notice is by default, this will say set how long this timer shows for. So that's when you see the 20-minute timers or the 24-hour timers or something like that. But for this, you will probably want to set the end date for the timer. And this end date, you actually pick right here. So this is very layer specific, and we are going to end this at the same time. So you'll want to make sure that these dates align with these dates, and to make sure not to confuse these two, because this is the schedule of the promotion, more of a global setting, and this is the layer specific setting. Okay. So I see a lot of questions coming through. Is there anything, Jenna, is there anything like pertinent that I need to answer right off the bat, or no?
Nope.
Okay, cool.
We're good.
Okay, cool. So you can choose, depending on how long you want to show this, you can choose to show this. I have the same date setting on here, and I can set it for hours if I want, and it'll count all those hours, and I'll have to do a little bit of resizing. This is how the resizing works. You can pull this, and it didn't used to be this way. This used to take a little bit more technical know-how to change that size, but our devs over in the Austin office were really great and helped us out with an easier, more out-of-the-box solution. So I'm going to go with days because we're still a ways away, but you may choose to do something different when you are running these. Okay. You can choose on this side, you can actually use our server time, or you can use the local time. You can, when the promo expires, or when this timer expires, you can open a promo, or you can actually close this whole thing if it's expired. I would argue that probably has a little less to do with Black Friday and Cyber Monday than something like if you're just running a timer year round and you want to say, hey, once this timer runs out, this deal is done, you don't get it again. So you can display time labels. This particular plugin or this particular theme has them in here pretty small, but some of our other themes actually have the labels they're fully written out, or it says DM or DHMS or something like that. And then you can do some cool little designs here. For those of you that are more technical, you can actually edit this plugin code to get a much more customized timer based on what you're looking for. So if you have a designer in-house that, he's like, oh, I have some experience with these timers, then you can actually edit the plugin code. Now, if you're looking to where you actually find the timers, you will find those within our plugins layer, okay? And this is like where a lot of the advanced integrations are for Justuno, like doing a custom HTML or JavaScript plugin you might use this for gift bundling, which we'll talk about later, or Google and Facebook registration, spin to win, everything like that. But here's our timer layer right here. And you select this, and it gives you kind of the generic timer theme. And then you go from there and select the theme that you want to go with. So those are sort of the main facets of this Black Friday welcome screen in terms of the design. So let's go into the rules for a second. What I have is a very, very simple rule for this promotion. Since it's already scheduled out, and I'm going to show this. Let's say I ship everywhere across the world. So I'm an international store. I'm not going to discriminate the country that the person is coming from. I'm not going to do anything like that. This is a deal for everybody. Maybe they don't all get free shipping, but they get the discount, right? And maybe your cart abandonment offer will be something like free shipping that then you can target to certain locales that you can or cannot ship to for free. But this is very simple. This says show pop-up once per visitor, and that's it. They will see it one time ever. And you could say another, I'm just going to run through a couple more popular scenarios too, is show once per session if the number of pages viewed this visit is more than one. So you're kind of getting that more high intent buyer or high intent to buy. You might say if they have not closed this visit, which would be maybe not the most ideal condition for this, but if they have seen a specific pop-up already, there's a lot of different rules you can do. Or you might just say maybe you have an example I'm thinking off the top of my head is that a lot of your designers will create hero images for your carousels and announcing your deals. So maybe this is something that is shown when someone intends to leave and they are on their first page load. So they are on exactly one page and they intend to leave. Maybe you decide to show them this and say, hey, wait, did you see what our deals are? So there's a few different ways to do this, but because this is such a blanket promotion for people mostly, I just go with the once per visitor. And that is it's just a nice quick way for me to move through this. I'm going to go ahead, save, and I'm going to publish this promotion, which is not going to actually turn it on. I'm going to get a nice little upcoming note here on my status. So that lets me know, okay, I don't have to do anything further with this promotion. I'm good to go. Okay. So this is a disclaimer I want to throw out, just kind of going back to our notes here. So I'm going to go back into presentation mode. Is that this is a common setup, but it's definitely not the only one. This is one that we have seen used throughout the years that works well, and it maximizes the UX on your site while also educating and guiding your visitors. You may have different plans for your discounts or what you want to show. Maybe you want to show a coupon code. Maybe you want to auto apply a coupon code to the cart page, which is also a great use case. But adapt these promos and what we're showing you today to those campaigns that you're running, or utilize something like what we're showing you. That's really kind of the goal here, is to not only show you what we recommend as far as a setup, but also let me show you some things that you can find in Justuno to help out with that. Okay. So with the, well, let's go ahead. Actually, sorry, I'm going to divert real quick. Let's go ahead and build our Black Friday associated courtesy banner. And so again, this is going to have a lot of use cases outside of just Black Friday and Cyber Monday. But when we go in, and I don't think we actually built a banner last year or last week for our pre-Black Friday email click-throughs, but I'm going to build a Black Friday 2018 courtesy banner desktop.
Hey,
Okay.
Robbie, and before you get started with this build, I know that there are some people joining us for the first time today. Can you explain what courtesy banner means, like the user flow, like what that means?
Yes. So courtesy banner is really just the idea that you show someone a pop-up. Maybe it's an email pop-up. Maybe it's any kind of campaign you're running where they see something in the center of their screen, and it's something that they're going to want to remember, or you're going to want them to remember. So as a sort of courtesy, maybe if it's a coupon code or something like that, it really comes from like the year-round idea of you submit an email to a promotion, you receive a coupon code, and instead of having to remember that coupon code, copy it or write it down somewhere, this courtesy banner shows up after you've engaged with the promotion in order to keep that coupon code in front of you. And so you don't really have to do any work to remember it at all. Like you just copy it and you get the and it serves the marketing team as well, because they have the countdown timer there to urge that sale, to kind of press the urgency on that. So with my naming convention, I'm going to be very clear about what this promotion is being used for. I'm going to make it searchable so I can see everything that's going on. I'm going to get started here. I'm going to select a desktop promotion, and then we have our banner theme right here. So I can select top or bottom. Again, this is all editable in the design canvas. Our wizard here is just asking you where you want to start. I have the sense that that having a banner at the bottom of the screen is a little bit more out of the way. You can definitely A/B test, and this is a great idea for an A/B test year round, is test a top banner versus a bottom banner. See what people respond to better in terms of, usually you're going to look at sales conversions as far as banners go, because I would not recommend putting a form in a banner, but if you do so, you can still test that top versus bottom and see how people feel about it. So moving on, we're going to select website messaging, or AKA an unlocked promotion, because there's no action needed to be taken by the user to engage with this. So we'll select that. We have a theme here. We have more themes down here, and there will be more seasonal themes for Black Friday and Cyber Monday. We usually don't launch till Wednesdays, and we are these designs that I'm showing you are designs that I've created, and we will have these available in this section of our themes area. So I basically, what I did is I selected my favorite theme here. I went with this one because it was pretty easy. And I selected all visitors as the rule. Of course, you can build your own audiences later. I skipped right past this part because I'm pretty comfortable on the design canvas after all these years. And I got here and I just kind of went, I designed from here. I removed here, like I was talking about, removed the coupon code layer. Got rid of some of these. What I did is, instead of using this font, I wasn't really super hyped on this font. So I'm going to go to our Google Fonts list, which contains all of the web fonts that we offer. And I'm kind of a fan. Internally, we've all been fans of Montserrat for a little while, so I'm going to use that. And once I have that, once I have it in my bank here, I'm just going to select it and go from there. Maybe change the indent here, put it up here. And you'll notice these green guidelines that we discussed this last week. We discussed the guidelines and how valuable they are. You will notice these on every desktop banner that you create. And what these do is, this is the size that you want to keep the content in order to keep it visible in an iPad or just a tablet. So most tablets will have these restrictions, and you may be wondering yourself, hey, Robbie, this close button is outside that line and this logo image is behind that line, and they are. But what they do is, what we have here is a setting that is called the sticky setting. And what this does is this creates more or less like a responsive layer that attaches to the right side, and I can set an offset to it if I want. But what this is going to do is, no matter where the edge of the viewable browser size is on a person's device, it's going to push this within the limits. So it's something to definitely be conscious about when you're building these promos. But as I mentioned last week, the less real estate you're working with, the way more concise you're going to want to be with what you have in there. So maybe the logo, I probably wouldn't recommend using the logo. I would keep a little bit of real estate over here for your close button, and we go from there. So this is obviously a terrible example of a banner, but I've created this one for Black Friday. When you fast forward through all of it, you get to something like this. And I've created just enough space for my X button here, and working with our countdown timers. We have a midline guideline here. I've dropped in some more guides to keep all my layers even. Enjoy, maybe I'll change this. It's not just 60% off everything. So we'll do enjoy up to 60% off, store wide, very concise timer, no coupon code needed. And this is following me around, and this whole green is the same color as my CTA. So we're just reinforcing some of that design. So again, just as a reminder, I'm going to go in here and I'm going to make sure that this only shows, we're going to schedule this promotion for the 23rd at 12 a.m. And then we're going to end it on the 25th at 11, not 55, but 59. So this is going to shut off right there at 11:59. So we'll go ahead and publish this. Now, here's the part where we get to, a banner is a banner, but what makes it the quote unquote courtesy banner, and yes, I just did rabbit ears right there. The courtesy banner is something in the targeting rules. And specifically, we're going to show the pop-up on every page if they have ever seen the Black Friday welcome screen desktop. So this is the condition that can be found under user engagement rules. We're going to look at has ever seen a specific pop-up. For your courtesy banners that are maybe email focused, like the person has to submit an email in order to receive the coupon code to then see this banner, you're going to want to make sure you select has engaged with a specific pop-up this visit. And what happens there is that really just inherits the rules of the pop-up that it's reliant on. So it just inherits those rules and says, hey, if they engage with it, show this. And in our case, since this is a pretty this is a pretty wide open promotion being Black Friday. We're just going to say if they've ever seen the Black Friday 2018 welcome screen and they have not closed this pop-up this visit, which you can also find right here, close this pop-up this visit, then you drop that in, and then you basically have the entire rule setup you need. And this is officially a courtesy banner. Again, no need for integrations. You can go ahead and publish this. And when we get here, we'll see that we now have 2 upcoming promotions, 2 upcoming campaigns, great naming conventions. We see when they were last modified. You will see if there's any unpublished changes that maybe your team is working through that you'll want to, that you may want to look into, okay? So now let's go ahead and get back into Cyber Monday here. We've created a slightly different design. We made some minor design and copy changes for that switch over. You may, Cyber Monday in all likelihood will be a bigger sales day for you than Black Friday. Black Friday obviously is typically brick and mortar. Cyber Monday is typically online. Those lines have been very blurred. So if historical data is any indication, then you'll have a bigger Cyber Monday than you will a Black Friday. You may, in light of that, you may decide to change your offer up a little bit. You may choose to segment it differently if you do maybe have brick and mortar locations. There are some possible changes. Typically, I will say that in the majority of cases that I've seen, I have not seen a different offer. I've seen them basically change the design and continue the offer all the way through. But if you want if people, maybe you'll segment to people that have been to your site a few times recently, or maybe they currently have something in their cart from Black Friday. Maybe those people need a little extra nudge. Maybe you give them a coupon code for just that extra 10% off on top of what they're already getting automatically applied at the cart with your, maybe your discounts that you're running through your Shopify admin. Okay. So all options. What I want to keep in mind here is that Justuno has a lot of advanced features at your disposal completely. Though when you keep things easier on the visitor, when you create that path of least resistance, especially on days like Black Friday and Cyber 5, then you will see more conversions come through, because again, don't make me think as the shopper, don't make me think too much. Okay. That's why you might not add a coupon code in your Black Friday and Cyber Monday welcome screens. Okay. So what we want to do here now is I want to show you guys this hack, right? This hack that we're going to talk about. And all I did for these promotions is I duplicated them and made these changes. So obviously you're going to duplicate, and we're going to say, Cyber Monday 2018. That's really the only naming convention that I'm going to change, or Cyber 5. Maybe we'll do Cyber 5. So this is what we'll do. That's the only change we make. And then you'll want to remember this mobile one for later. We'll duplicate it. And then we have the same one as we had before, but maybe your finished product is going to look something like mine does here. So I changed the timer a little bit, changed it to Cyber Monday, obviously. I kept everything. I changed the CTA up a little bit, and obviously the color. I have this neat little background graphic that I use. And the most importantly is I changed my schedule. So I wanted to remind you guys to do that as well. Let's see, I want to start this on, we have our deal ending on the 25th at 11:59. So this is going to start right at midnight like that. That's the easy part. And here's the part where here's the questions you guys might want to start asking yourselves in terms of, do you want this to just go till Thursday and be a clean, Friday and go clean Friday to Friday? Or do you want to extend this a little bit into the weekend? Or do you want to duplicate this yet again and run a even more special sale on the weekend? Say, hey, extended Cyber Monday deals. Typically what we see is online sales typically dip slightly on the weekends. So if I were you, I might recommend just running this all the way through, or doing kind of that extended promotion. So These will still end at 11:59. And other than that, we're looking good here. We're gonna, once we duplicate, I'm gonna go ahead and publish this. So now I have 3 upcoming promotions right here. And when I get to this Cyber Monday, we're gonna do all those changes that we mentioned before. Let's change the date here. Start this on 26th at 12 a.m. And we're gonna go all the way to, Sunday, 11:55, 59. We'll make these changes here. Maybe you decide on a different, more sleek looking countdown timer. And one note here too, that's pretty cool, is if you select these more text-based timers, you can actually go into the font options. You have font options for these, so you can select different fonts. I actually have the close button selected, I believe.
Hey, Robbie, can I ask you a question about the scheduling for newbies? If you schedule your promos, can you go back and edit that schedule anytime? So when you click on your promotions tab and you see that it's upcoming, if you go in, can you go in and make those edits, or do you have to start all over?
Totally. No. You can just make the edits to the directly. Do you mean specifically to the date and time?
Yes.
Yeah. You can make those edits and nothing has to change about any other aspect of the promo.
Got it. Cool.
Really independent. So one note here too that you'll want to make sure that you know is you'll just want to change this condition to, instead of being the Black Friday welcome screen, change it to the Cyber 5 welcome screen. So we have right here, we'll publish, boom. Now we've got all 4 of our welcoming doorbuster announcements. These are really announcements. Those are ready to go now. Okay. And here's where we get to the hack that I want to show you guys that will hopefully save you guys some time. And just utilizing the knowledge that I have working through our canvas for many years now. I found that this is the best way to do it. So we've created our Black Friday and welcome screen and courtesy banner. We duplicated both of those and adjusted for Cyber Monday. We scheduled our start and end dates. We have all those things going for us. And then you still have the mobile segment to think about, right? So duplicate, once all these steps are done, then duplicate to mobile. Once you do that, you'll scale the images down. You'll do the things that you're going to do to your mobile promotions. Maybe you'll change that targeting rule to show on the second page. Maybe you'll do something like that in terms of the experience. You're definitely going to change the banner around a little bit, but you'll have much less to do. Really, either way you go. Maybe if you start on mobile and you duplicate to desktop, or desktop to duplicate to mobile, do these 3 steps first. These 3 steps, doing these first, will help you save a little bit of time in that. So let's see. Let's go ahead and move on. I wanted to show you guys also some advanced strategies that you guys can do to target these cart abandoners, whether this is during the stretch, or it's before, or it's even after. I'm not going to build these out with you guys today, because we're going to be focusing on them more in looking through a technical lens on these next week. So that's something to look forward to, as we'll be doing some of these more advanced implementations next week. I did, however, want to show you guys some really cool examples, and maybe give you a visual, because sometimes I talk to people about what is a tiered discount? What does that look like? What's a gift with purchase mean? Gift bundling and everything like that. So I thought it'd be cool to show you guys a little example here from one of our professional services clients that they did. This is specifically a tiered discount, where this person had they had, I think, $50 in their cart. And so this is actually a little bit of a technical implementation where that says you are blank away, and this is dynamically updates to say that they're that far away from 20% off. And that's an advanced version of the tiered discounts. And so some of these, you'll want to take notes on these. So these are the things that you're going to want to know in order to technically build these in Justuno. So some of these builds that you're seeing right now, they're more advanced than others. So your ability to execute them may very well depend on the team that you have around you. But the good news is that most of the 3 of these have an easy way to do it, and a more technical, harder way to do it. The more harder way just being a more dynamic, personalized experience to that specific user. Okay. So that's a good thing to keep in mind. I was toying around with some of these, and tiered discounts. You can just show a pop-up that says, hey, start here, get this amount in your cart and you get this discount, yada, yada, yada. And then, there's the more structured, more technical ones that is kind of what you're seeing here. So I want to talk about just really quick some benefits of using each of these in case you guys are wondering. I mean, I think that they all kind of look sexy and people they think, oh, they look at it and they say, yes, I want to do this. Tier discounts are great for increasing AOV, pushing people to a next level of spending. Gifts with purchase kind of remind shoppers of buy one, get one free, sort of that, like, you get an extra gift for something you might have bought anyway. So that's really kind of like a sort of in its own way, sort of like a bundle, but it's just, a lot of people just call that the gift with purchase. And there's a couple different ways to implement that. And then the bundling is really upselling at its most elegant, its finest. It's a really great way to give a discount on multiple products, to move products at one time, to upsell people, and to complete the set. Like if you sell bed sheets, for example, if you're like a Brooklinen or something like that, you would bundle the whole set of sheets, and for the entire month of December, you're offering 20% off on that, when you usually don't offer. You have kind of a baked in discount, and then you'll see those things fly off the shelves, right? So in terms of the pre-holiday window shopper, this is a kind of a newer thought that I had, because of those people that are going to be adding things to their cart. I'm going to show you guys real quick. I want to show you guys a way that you can build that, or sort of more or less how easy that is in Justuno. So this isn't actually my Black Friday 2018 courtesy banner. This is going to be my, hey, you left something in your cart. Why don't you, check out now for an extra $20 off, and get the deal before the onslaught of Black Friday traffic. So really let's imagine, for example's sake, that this says you left items in your cart, check out now before the crowd hits, and you're going to target people based on the items in their cart. So I'm looking at our basic rules, and it's going to show on every page. And I'm going to actually switch this to the advanced mode, because you have to do that in order to use our cart targeting. And we're going to say they haven't closed the pop-up this visit. And we're going to say item added to cart in the last 7 days. This is where you would find our cart and past order rules. And we'll say cart totals. You can go two different ways. You can say the amount of items in their cart, or the dollar amount in their cart. Really, if they have anything in their cart, it doesn't really matter. So I would say, in the last 7 days, if they've had something in their cart and their amount or their quantity right there is greater than 0, or maybe you want to target some more high value people. Maybe they have $100, maybe they have $400 in their cart, and you want to offer them some crazy discount because they've got $400 in their cart. You want to get that sale. You want to squeeze that value out of them. This is really all you need to do, especially for you Shopify customers, for you Shopify merchants. You can just pull these targeting rules straight into your promos and run them. For other platforms, or for a lot of the custom built sites out there, there is a little snippet of JavaScript, but this not only helps you utilize the cart targeting, but it also pulls in cart abandonment data from your site into our analytics and lets us reflect that back to you, saying like, hey, here's your cart abandonment rate with people that engage. Here's the exit pages where you have the most cart abandonment, or landing pages where you have the most cart abandonment. So that really has dual value in that sense. And aside from the holidays, aside from using these targeting rules, I highly, highly recommend that if you're not on Shopify, that you get that code embedded if you haven't done it already. Okay. So this is how we would set up an offer for those early window shoppers. And you may, if you really want the extra credit, if you really want to go all the way with those people, and you're running like abandoned cart triggered emails, then target those UTM campaigns when they come through. And you'll really kind of be narrowing in on that segment and really just squeezing a little bit more value out of those people. So maybe those people also get early access as well, along with those subscribers that we talked about so much last week. So if you don't like any of the stuff that I've said so far, if you don't like any of the ideas that I've thrown out to you guys, here are some more off the wall things that you can offer. And what I would think about here is whether you want to do these for pre-Black Friday, Cyber Monday, during Black Friday, Cyber Monday, or if this is going to be your December offers. If this is going to be the way that you compete with Amazon and the big box retailers to steal sales away from them and keep them on your site and keep all that money for yourself, these are some ideas, some out-of-the-box things that Amazon's and Target and Walmart are not going to offer that maybe will give you an edge. For those of you that are looking for offering a great gift and maybe just a cheap add-on at the cart section, a discounted gift card. This is a pretty easy thing for a lot of merchants to run. For those of you that are pretty staunch about not offering discounts, not doing site-wide discounts outside of the cyber stretch, then a gift guide PDF. Maybe you'll get maybe that's a subtle upsell or subtle bundling idea for people. Give them gift guides based on what they're looking for. Maybe include a form in there so you can give them more informed gift guides. And then for all those last minute shoppers, or for people looking for, people that are really terrible at wrapping gifts, like I somehow am still really, really bad at it. And my mom tried to show me for a long time and I thought I had it, but I don't think I have it.
Either have it or you don't.
It really, I think you're born with it. So free gift wrapping with purchase. And that is something that maybe you guys have the resources to offer, but these are just off the wall ideas that you guys can run with. And, maybe you'll test those in with some other ideas that you're running. So hopefully those get the creative juices flowing for you. So your schedules for, going over your schedules again, we want you guys to keep thinking about the automation and creating the workflows of the Justuno promotions. I really think that helps relieve stress. And that is one of my main goals for you is I don't want you guys to feel, so stressed out about Justuno just being another thing that you got to worry about. We want you not to worry about, right? So midnight on November 23rd, that is the beginning of Black Friday. It is coming off of all the turkey and everything like that. And that is going to be the start date of your Black Friday promotions. And you're going to want to end them at 11:59 on November 25th, which is going to turn right into Cyber Monday. Remember again that when you schedule those promotions, they are based on our servers, which are located in the West Coast of America. So this is going to be in Pacific Standard Time. And then for Cyber Monday or Cyber 5, again, consider, do you want to run this till a week after Black Friday, or do you want to run it all the way through the weekend to December 2nd? Which one are you going to do? But you're going to start it always on November 26th at midnight. I don't mean always. I mean, this year, 100%, you're going to start it on midnight on November 26th. And then it'll be up to you and your teams discuss whether you want to keep these going to Friday the 30th or Sunday, December 2nd. Okay. And I really can't stress enough that our servers are in Pacific time. We ran into that. We had a lot of questions about that last year. So,
hey, Robbie, would you mind clarifying about Cyber 5? So I know that we sort of have interchanged Cyber Monday and Cyber 5, but can you explain the concept of Cyber 5 for those people who haven't heard that before? Maybe they've just heard Cyber Monday.
Right. Yeah. It's sort of an industry term, I think, that has validated what I've just noticed over the years, which was when Justuno first started and people first started using Justuno for advertising their campaigns on site. They were sticking to Cyber Monday, and then the competition increased and everybody starts extending their sales. And that is this whole overarching theme of this training series is thinking bigger, thinking beyond just those 2 days. And so it's really, I think it's become sort of an industry standard term that refers to Cyber Monday And then the following 4 days, so it's 5 days total, Cyber 5 ends on Friday. And then, and that happens every year. I think it's becoming a little bit more like ubiquitous to call it the Cyber 5, or to run your promotions through Cyber 5 or through that whole week and possibly into the weekend. And I think, I think we might start seeing Cyber 7 because, there's people, everything just keeps expanding. I got a mailer for Black Friday in July this year. And even I was like, wow, but it just was more proof, and more validation for the fact that these things are just expanding. And, like we mentioned before, there was $1 billion in sales for 58 out of 61 days between November and December last year, which was up from 53 in 2016. And the only 3 days that did not do $1 billion in online sales were the day before Christmas Eve, and Christmas Day. So hopefully that helps answer or clear that.
Yeah, definitely.
So what do we do today? We built out some high value, subtle touch points. I guess the welcome screen isn't subtle, but nothing about Black Friday or Cyber Monday is going to be subtle as far as your on-site marketing, off-site marketing, advertising. Nothing will be subtle, I'm sure. So these are going to be high value touch points. We're going to show them everything that you guys are offering, all of your goodies, and then we're going to get out of the way until we need to intervene again when they're about to abandon, or, when you guys want to try to maybe squeeze some value out of early shoppers, right? So welcome screens, Black Friday and Cyber Monday, creating the courtesy banners as a nice subtle reminder as they're moving through your site. We talked about the hack where we duplicate, adjust, schedule, and then duplicate to mobile. The first duplicate meaning you create your Black Friday, then duplicate to Cyber Monday, and then adjust, schedule, and duplicate again. This will save you a little bit of time. Cart abandoner strategy, both before and during the rush, using some creative promotional ideas to target those people. Tier discounts, gift with purchase, bundling, targeting early window shoppers. These things we will also talk about in episode 4. So we'll go in a little bit more technical depth. We have support documentation for that. Jenna, I'm not sure if you dropped that into the chat yet, but we have support documentation around those ideas. And some of it is geared towards Shopify. Some of it is geared towards Shopify users. However, a lot of the ideas can be expanded on, and you can do things like add to cart URLs. Get your add to cart URLs together if you're not on Shopify. There are other, there are apps that can help with these things that can be used in conjunction with Justuno. So really just looking at your strategy holistically. We talked about how we're going to focus on sales conversions on Black Friday and Cyber 5. Lead capture can kind of take a back seat for 1 week out of the year where you are very, very sales focused. Really, at the end of the day, we just want your campaigns to supplement the customer's journey, to guide them and educate them. And we feel good about, I think that there's a lot less opportunity to be had for people that are just going to ask for an email for some crazy doorbuster deal. And I don't think anybody really does that anymore. And so if you're thinking about doing that, I hope that this was a sort of eye-opening for in terms of what you might consider for your strategy. So that is a wrap for me for episode 3. I'd love to open it up to questions if people have them.
Awesome. Thanks, Robbie. And we do have some questions. I see Jeff just pinged one right now. Let me add that to my list, Jeff, and we will get to it. Robbie, I was going to ask you to turn on your video for Q&A. I'm not sure if you're able to do that. You're welcome to try. If you can't, we won't worry about it for this episode. I seem to have done some things on Zoom incorrectly today. So if that doesn't work, no worries, but I will go ahead and tee up the first question for you.
Okay, I didn't put my face on today.
Okay, we'll get it next time then. So guys, thanks for dealing with the blank screen for now. All right, first question comes from Tom. Tom wants to know, is it possible to show a banner with just a close layer and no gate on all pages and have a pop-up promotion to gather email come up to the same visitor?
So
So
yeah, yes, to those things you can. I think the main question is, can you show a banner with an email pop-up, right?
correct.
Yeah.
That's how I'm interpreting it. Tom, let us know if that's different.
Let me actually show you something though, Tom. This is a common pitfall that I see sometimes is when people have banners that they're running in the overlay settings. This selection is checked by default, and this is asks you if you want to allow the banner to be shown along with other promotions. Now, if you unselect this, then the answer to your question is no. But if you have it selected, the answer is yes.
Cool. Okay, Tom, let us know if that answers your question. I hope that helps. Alrighty, next question is coming from Steve. And Steve's got a couple, but this one is around the idea of the full screen takeover.
Mm-hmm.
So I pinged a question to see if anybody had used them. Steve says, yes, we do. But he says we are a little bit different from other companies where we always have a sale running. So we have to be careful that pop-ups are not too robust. It's a fine line that he's still using. So he wants to know, especially in cart abandonment, our codes cannot be combined with others. So I'm trying to find quote unquote loopholes to offer a free gift, for example.
So you can, I think the most common, easiest route we've seen that is to utilize an add to cart URL and to zero out that item on the cart page. So if the gift with purchase is already a part of your product list, you can, I think you would have to check with your cart platform if you can utilize an add to cart URL that also zeroes it out. But if this gift with purchase is not available for purchase on your website already, then you can create basically like an invisible PDP that add to cart URL actually works. But in a general sense, the add to cart URL is probably the easiest, most common approach.
Cool. And Steve, if I remember correctly from last episode, I believe you might be a professional services client, and I think you might be working with Kelsey. If that's the wrong Steve, then let me know. But okay, he says correct. So in any case, we can have that conversation with Kelsey since she is a wizard. But yeah, Robbie, I guess, gave the minimal solution that you could use.
Right. Kelsey will definitely be able to help you out with that.
Okay. Next question comes from Jeff, and I really like this question. He says, any cool ideas for brands that don't do discounts or bundling other than gift with purchase? So Robbie, I know that you gave a couple, like the free gift wrap, but are there any others that you've seen just, clients using?
So I can't really say that as far as Black Friday and Cyber Monday goes, I'd be hard pressed to find people that don't offer their biggest discount of the year type of thing or their only discount of the year. Pendleton is a client that we work with that doesn't generally offer discounts. But my thoughts were the ideas that I mentioned back here. Let me go back to it.
Yeah, if you could pull up that slide. And then I believe Miranda, one of our account managers, had an idea on this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, one thing I was just going to mention was potentially, doing a contest promotion. But as Robbie mentioned, I'm kind of with him on that, where this is definitely the time of the year to offer some sort of discount, just because I feel like, that will be the most successful.
But yeah, and that's what more so than that, like that's sort of what people expect from this time of the year too. So when they don't get it, it's that consumer psychology is a little funky there. But that was another idea for this slide too, was hey, like what can you do that is not necessarily monetary or doesn't discount the product itself that you're selling. So give people a $200 gift card for $175, or a gift guide PDF that they can receive via email after signing up, so that if there's a lot of people out there that have no idea what to give people. So if you can provide that to them, then that's valuable, right? There's more value than just discounts, but that is going to be the prominent thing that you see without a doubt. And then if you're, I'm not sure exactly what you guys sell, but gift wrapping, if you can provide that, if you have a means to do that, or a service that can do that, that free shipping is huge. Free shipping is a huge idea, and probably if people are not offering discounts, the most common thing you'll see, the next most common thing will be free shipping.
And it looks like Jeff said double our gift to charity, scavenger hunt, spin to win, etc. So yeah, I mean, Jeff, like Robbie said, a lot of it too has to do with what you sell. So if you would like to, you can drop in what you sell, and maybe our account managers can help you brainstorm. So I hope that helps. Alrighty, next question is from Arlene. Arlene, I hope you're still here. It looks like you are. So Robbie, Arlene was on last training.
Oh, I remember. Yeah, I remember.
It seems like she had some difficulty duplicating to mobile. So she was wondering if you could just walk us through that, and maybe a little bit slower this time. I think she had a question about the guides, or maybe just resizing everything, and probably also the alignment. So if you wouldn't mind just hopping in, and we can just look at an example and maybe just resize an element or two so she can see.
Sure, no problem. So I thought I already had one that I didn't quite all the way downsize. Is this it? No, it's not it. This one? Nope. Okay, so, all right, so when we go to duplicate to mobile here, sorry, my browser's just slowing down, so we select this, obviously. Take care of our naming convention, duplicate. And so now we get the raw stuff here. This is the raw look. This particular theme would be pretty ridiculous to try to downsize, because you have these layers over here that are all aligned to the left and the right, and you got all these things and what have you. First thing I usually do is I will take the background layer and kind of give it, sort of a size like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this layer. One golden rule about the mobile promotions is I throw away everything I do not absolutely need. So what I'll do, typically what I might do is I might grab all these layers, all my remaining layers, and I'm going to hit this align button, and that kind of, it kind of sort of starts getting you there where there's no elements off the screen or anything like that. And then I just start going from here. I typically find, I think it's like 22 is one of the better font sizes for this. Bring this layer down a lot. Another key thing that you want to make sure is these layers, if you squeeze them too tight, and this is true of any web-based design canvas, you run the risk of HTML on certain browsers cutting this off sooner, or this layer being a little more scrunched, and you have another line break basically. So I bring this down. I'm going to definitely cut down this copy a little bit, but let's see what it looks like when I bring it down a little bit. So enjoy up to 60% off site wide, and plus, so I might say plus sale and clearance. So I'm really going to go as light as I can with the actual amount of words that I'm using. Base these all in the middle. And then I'm just going to continue to kind of keep reworking this like this. We got my timer. Maybe I'll add in that one layer again. I can just duplicate this one like that. Bring it down here just to keep all the fonts and everything similar in the sizing. Save me a little bit more time. I could say hurry. Deals end in. I'll probably bring this down a little bit. Let's bring this font down. And you can even do things like I've done some tricks in the past before where I've highlighted all the copy, and I've changed the spacing between it to like -1 pixel, which buys you a little extra room. And We're going to squeeze these timers down a little bit more. Basically the biggest I can get the timer while keeping it on the pop-up. And then we'll do something like that. And since this isn't a locked promo, I only have this screen to worry about. So the last thing I'll do is I'll grab all these layers one more time, align them. And I typically, you know, if I got my design hat on, then I'll probably make sure that there's a really nice even amount of space between all of these layers. And let's see, looks like I might have a little bit more room here to work with. So I'll go here. Maybe I'll squeeze these in a little bit with the spacing. Hold that. Or maybe I'll drop that so it's a little bit more even that out. And then I'll bring the guides in. And what I typically do is I don't usually typically stick the guides to the end of the layer, but more like the end of the text. So like that. Pull another one down here. And I don't know if you had a question about how to get more guides to show up, but I click up here and then I drag down.
Yeah, Arlene just asked if you could show on desktop the guides, but Arlene, it's going to be the same on desktop or mobile. So what Robbie's doing is just clicking inside that gray area in the ruler section and dragging down. So you have to click, hold, and drag it down, and then you'll see that green guide appear.
Yeah, and what that looks like here is like so. Yeah, and here you just click on this side and drag out.
Yeah, and that will help you keep your spacing. So Arlene, I hope that answers your question. Just remember dragging the guides out, and then also in the layer positioning in the top right hand corner, you have all of your alignment features, and that should help you get everything streamlined. So hopefully that helps. But again, we will be sending out the recording so you can rewatch it and do it at your own pace.
And your account manager can help further.
Yes. Okay, great. Next question is coming from Steve. So this is another advanced question, Robbie, but and again, Steve is utilizing our professional services for those of you that don't know, that's just a service that we offer where we design and help you guys optimize your offers. So Steve is currently working with us in that regard, but his question is about countdown timers. He says, we sell two different types of products, ready-made and custom. Custom obviously takes longer to make than ready-made. Is there a way to have a visitor enter in a date when they want the product by, like a due date, and then a timer or timers would show when they would need to order by?
Well, that's a very creative use case, and I can think of one solution in Justuno where you can actually tie in like a form, like an on-page survey sort of thing with a timer, but that will require a sufficient amount of technical expertise to tie that form into the timer itself. So what I may recommend doing, and again, professional services will help further in this regard, is you have the timer plugin code right here, right? So you go to edit plugin code. And Jenna, can everybody see this modal screen?
Yep, I've got it on my end. Guys, let us know if you cannot see the box that says code snippet editor, but I can see it.
So this, yeah, okay. So this is all the code that goes into just that one teeny tiny coupon or a timer that we have in there. So I would probably, my guess is that you would copy this because you're going to want the timer in this other plugin layer. And then we're going to add the plugin layer for a custom HTML JavaScript plugin. And this kind of looks a little ugly at first, but you get your plugin code right here. And you can, from here, you might drop in a JavaScript form for the date that then utilizes a JavaScript wrap around the timer that affects it. That is my guess. That is my non-technical guess. But what I do know is that you would utilize this custom plugin layer to achieve what you're looking for.
Steve follows up with, could you use the age verification to do this?
Never seen anybody do it, so I don't know for sure, but you can go to this right here. and you can edit that plugin code. So all of those age verification, weather, percent completed, everything like that, those are all utilizing this custom plugin terminal, basically, that translates to a layer. You can also plug in, if there's a service like that already exists, then you can plug that into to this plugin area as well. Sort of like how you would drop an HTML form into our form builder.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And Arlene says he'll be the first. He probably will. And Steve says, I'll play around in there and utilize Kelsey. Yep. No problem. He says, you guys are great. So thanks, Robbie, for going over that. And for those of you who are still with us and seeing all of this and thinking, wow, like that's very advanced, it is. And that's something we're really proud of at our company, that we actually give you guys the ability to edit, customize to make your user experience what you want to. So for those of you that are starting out, don't be overwhelmed, but it gives you something to look forward to, like, hey, I can actually grow, one day where I'm using these very advanced use cases. Okay, good deal. I have one more question, and then I think we are going to wrap up. So closing us out today would be Jeff. He says, would you say lead capture should take a back seat with the new product launches as well, similar to Black Friday, Cyber Monday?
No, probably not. I would probably never, my boss would probably kill me if I ever said that, but anytime outside of the Cyber Week that lead capture should take a back seat. You're always going to want to be capturing leads from your new traffic year round. But at this time of year, really it's all about the goal, right? The main goal of utilizing a tool like ours for most of the year is lead capture and sales conversions. And then this 1 week, the whole world flips upside down, and that priority flips, and the goal becomes sales conversions. And all we are thinking about is how can we maximize sales conversions on your site? The only exception to this would be embedding a Justuno promotion on a web page of products that are out of stock or not available in the sizes that people are looking for them in. So if on Cyber Monday you've run out of your most popular blue sweater, but everybody wants it, but you think you'll get another order in on like December 10th maybe, then you can have people, they can get notified when it's back in stock, which is yet another advanced use case, but valuable. We have a client of ours, Evo, is utilizing something like that right now. And a lot of people utilize that, and it's kind of, if a lot of people will want they'll have the desire to build those in Justuno because of the customizability of the design canvas and the rules. But it does require an integration with something like a Demandware or something.
Got it, like an inventory service.
Right.
Cool. Yeah, I know that we have that question a lot. And so Jeff, I hope that answers your question. And I misspoke. I have one more question, and it was from Steve. He, I believe, already hopped off, and I actually told him I wouldn't forget the question this time, and I totally did. So Steve's question was just wondering, and maybe it's more of a brainstorm, but for everyone who's still on, when Robbie was talking about the banners across the bottom, Steve was asking if this would be a good place to do like product recommendations or maybe he said new products, I believe. But it made me think, Robbie, from last year when we did a Black Friday training, how we showcased, I guess, what we called like a promo drawer. And I believe last holiday season, it was companies like Old Navy and Gap and all of these, that arm or branch of company was using a very large banner snapped to the bottom to show different promotions. So I don't know if you want to talk about using a bottom banner to show new products or offers, or is there a recommendation in how you should use them?
Yes. So the banner being at the bottom is certainly, I think you have more real estate to work with because you're not pushing down the nav, and you're not dealing with any header issues like any CSS Z-index issues. So I think that there's a lot more room to play down at the bottom of the screen. And you can, I think any any company, big or small, maybe not the bigger ones actually, but the more mid-sized companies that are really taking into account a very data-driven approach, I don't think you'll see a lot of the promo drawers this year, because according to our professional services last year, those really did not perform as well as just really more straightforward deals. And that sort of supports the notion that if you keep things easy on the user, it will pay off. However, promo drawers are great for doing, you can do product recommendations that either is like multiple CTAs on a banner that direct to a product. And instead of, you have a product image, maybe you have that product image or some kind of pre-existing mini product imagery for that you drop into the Justuno promotion. You can actually drop in invisible CTA layers over those. So you can upsell that way, or you can kind of bundle that way. That would be my version. Earlier I said that there's an easy and a hard way to do most of these advanced builds. That would be the easy way to do a bundle build, for example. And you can offer, I think with the deal with the promo drawers last year, if I remember correctly, our professional services was setting that up based on the request that people wanted to do. We're doing 10% off this on Friday and Saturday. We're doing 20% off this on Sunday. And we're doing, and it was kind of based on days and letting people kind of see or maybe the best deal was on that first day and the next best deal was on the next day, and just a way to press urgency on the sale to kind of speed it up. It was more about time, I believe.
Yeah. And now that you're reminding me, I think it was because and I believe it was running as more of like a teaser for the upcoming deals. So, hey, if you want to save on Saturday's deal of whatever workout leggings, click here and enter your email and you'll get early access or something like that. So, but yeah, apparently Robbie, you're saying it didn't really work that well maybe for the use case of applying a discount, but for teasing, I think it works okay, or messaging, but maybe not for doing discounts. So yeah, Steve, I know you had to run, but if you listen to the recording, hopefully that helps answer your question. And just to reiterate Robbie's point, really, we've seen it be very effective if you just keep it simple with your offers. And that's what we want to do. We want to help you guys capture your audience, offer them something, and then get out of the way so that they buy. So great. I think that is all of the questions. I don't see any other ones popping up here in chat. So for those of you guys that are still with us, thanks so much for staying on this extra time and listening to all of the knowledge that Robbie is sharing with us. And I'm really looking forward to next episode. I think we're going to do some more builds, right, Robbie?
Next week?
Yes.
Yes. Next week, we are going to be focusing more on those ideas to boost your sales conversions in December, which is a really big honeypot that, if you recall from episode 1, Amazon and the other big box retailers really cleaned up on last year, was specifically the week before Christmas. So we're going to throw out some more dates to have known. And then we're going to do more or less just an office hours where you can really kind of like ask our team any of your questions about your holiday setup. Maybe you can let us know about what you're planning on doing and how you can incorporate that into what we're kind of talking about.
Great. Alrighty, Robbie. Well, thanks so much for taking time, and for all of you that joined in, thanks again. And hopefully we will see you guys next week. If not, you will be getting the recording. So keep your eyes on your email. Thanks, guys, and have a good Tuesday.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, everybody.